This is the Play No Games podcast. We're the hardest working podcast in Portland, Oregon, man. Play
No
game. Play
No.
games. Podcast.
/show.
And we back here like we never left.
Ooh.
Shout out to my guy Swago.
Ooh.
Shout out to my guy Swago in the beginning. I
Shout
know
out,
that
shout
intro is popping.
Brand new whip.
Just hopped in.
Uh-oh.
Hey, we gonna try to get that feature of Swago and Jack
Uh-oh.
and young Jackie on the track.
Uh-oh.
Big shout out to him before we really get into it, because we was not really gonna have an episode out. But you know, my guy was like, nah, just put it out. Don't wait the week. Just drop it. And you know, I just dropped it. Without further ado, we need your help. We're trying to expand. We're trying to grow. Like, what we're trying to give y'all is like everything. And that everything is nutrients for you. So if you want to help us out, you want to help us grow, please donate. $herobob. Donations is a big thing for us in the show, because we're trying to take it to a higher vibration, higher frequency. And speaking of that, when it comes to social issues, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to the self-improvement, what you get from watching our show puts you in the mindset to be ready to go there. And that's what we do. And you can definitely find and follow us on Instagram at lookhere.fri, because we got some of the clips, we got some dope stuff coming in there. But if you really want to follow just the show, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Anchor. Hey, run them likes up. Hey, I pity the fool who don't push that like button.
This dude.
But other than that, the camera. Other than that, I think our AJ, can you tell us what our very first segment is? Get him with the close up. What's the first segment?
It's our first segment. It's called Play No Games. And today, we ain't gonna play no games about what, Robert?
Well, I have a story. You don't have to zoom in on me on this. You can probably just have us both in the frame on this one. Yeah, it's perfect. I got a story for y'all. I want to play no games about paying things forward and being a real life hero.
Oh, interesting.
So last Sunday, I was taking a mindfulness walk because I'm starting a new phase in my life. And every time I end a phase and start a phase, I always go on a long walk. And on the end of my phase walk, I was walking across one of the Portland bridges, and I was walking up the motor center, right? To the motor center. I'm walking, and I get to this left side of the street. Crazy, right? And I see this one car reverse. So the car's reversing. And I look at this car, I'm like, why are you reversing on one way? And then me and the other car, I look at the guy in the car, and we look at each other. I'm like, why are you doing that? And then we look up the street, and there's another car coming down reversing, and I look at the first person in the car I saw, right? And I'm like, y'all weird. But like, here's the crazy thing about it. When the car got closer, because me and the guy connected with our eyes, like we're having a conversation, right? Like, this is weird. We both see that nobody's in the second car coming down the hill.
Oh, snap.
Yes. So we both look at each other and we're like, damn, ghost car. Like, literally nobody was in the fucking car. So the other guy just keeps his car in reverse, gets out of the way. And you know what my dumb ass do? I take off.
Running?
I chase after the runaway car.
Really?
Yes. But my thing is, like, to get perspective, like, once I saw the car was rolling back and there was no one in there, I peeked out in the street, right? And I peeked out in the street, and I looked at the street on top of the hill, right? And it's a decent hill. You know what I'm saying, where the motor center is, when you get off the freeways. It's decent.
Yeah.
And like at the top of it, there's a guy in his U-Haul, and like he's like running down the hill to catch his car. So like after I I peeped what was going on. I just sprang in action. So I chased this guy's car, right? So I'm chasing the car going down Broadway.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, I'm chasing this guy's car down Broadway. And I don't know what. I just didn't want to be like a bystander because people were watching and then I just took off. In my mind, and viewers, this all is happening in 30 seconds because the car's on the trajectory to hit the light post where all the light where it's connected to the lights and everything. So I'm like, all right, hopefully. So I catch the car. So I'm like, hopefully this guy's car's door is open. So I get to the car. I'm like, bet car door's open. So I swing the car open, and then I have a swole gym person moment where I'm like, yeah, I lift weights. I can stop a car. Now I'm gonna put some things in perspective for y'all. It's like the car was a little bigger than a Mini Cooper, but like around that size of a Mini Cooper. So I like, let me get you in the mindset of
Okay.
me going quick. So I open the car door,
Like a Nissan Versa or something.
something like that. So I open the car, right? And like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stop the car, the front door on the driver's side with my strength. Let me tell you what Albert Einstein in physics did. It humbled me so well because I tried to stop the car and it was like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. And the crazy thing about it is, I was like, damn, this is only going like 20 miles per hour going
Oh
downhill,
shit.
and this is bad.
Yeah.
And I thought I could stop it, but obviously, I'm decently. Y'all see me. I got the little strength. I slow it down just a little bit, not much, but like the car's like, I'm going with the car now. So I'm like, all right, I got 15 seconds to make a decision. So my next thing was like, all right, I've seen so many action movies. Let me take in this shit. So I tried to gather myself and jump into the car. I trip.
Oh shit.
And I kind of rolled my ankle. And I'm like, but like I'm doing this all like really quickly.
What the
So
fuck?
like I don't get taken with the car, but like I know like, all right, I failed. So now that's another 5 seconds off.
Did the car?
Nah, we're almost there. We're almost there. Another 5 seconds is off. Here's the crazy thing. Because like when you have adrenaline pumping and like
Mhm.
things are going like when shit is going on, you guys, like life slows down.
Absolutely.
So I had a decision to make. I was like, I can try again and try to get into this guy's car, right? And like put on the brake. Or I was thinking about it. What happens if I don't make it in time? Will I get in trouble if I get into this guy's car and like it hits the light post? Would I be at fault? And I'm a black man in America. I was like, either I'm gonna make it in time and put it in the park, or I gotta figure something else out. So that's another like 5 seconds off. So I got 5 seconds left.
Oh snap.
I came up with this other plan. I was like, I'm gonna change the trajectory of the car. So I put my hand on the steering wheel and I guide the car and the wheels away from the light post. And I can show you. So you know how like sometimes on the street there's those random like boxes of something in there, and it's like sometimes they're green or like beige. And I was like, the car going on the curb, plus kind of going on some of the grass will slow down some of the momentum. Plus me holding, trying to slow it down too, will be the best course of action where I don't get in any trouble. I'm not gonna fly off of the door handle and things like that. So I put my hand on the steering wheel, move that shit, brace for impact. So I'm holding on and putting my feet into the ground, into the grass in the car, and like we bump up against this beige green thing, right? And it's only like a little dent in there. So long story short, fuck it, I stopped the car,
Okay.
and the guy comes down the hill. He's like, he's like, thank you. And then I'm like, no problem. And then I just walk away, and I just add it to my hero resume. I literally stopped the car on a Sunday, and I promise you, only like 6 people saw me. It was crazy. Like I got a little standing ovation from like this winery, and I'll show you guys. Like this Hawaiian dude was like, "Ah, you're great," and I was like, it's kept pushing. So I cost that guy, not cost that guy. I saved the guy so much money, and for the people who are coming up the street, a major accident.
Dang. Robert the Hero. You heard it first.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about my IG, but then I was like, nah, you gotta watch the show for this one. Yeah, but yeah, I stopped the car on Sunday.
That's dope. That's super dope. That's crazy.
had to use my brain. I tried to use my brawn, didn't work. Physics is real, folks.
Man, come on, bruh. Dang, I don't know how to top that story.
Crazy enough to make you think I'm lying, right? Like it's wild.
The funniest part about it is as you were telling the story, I could see it happen. Like I could see it like happening, which is crazy as hell.
Yeah. People didn't think I was telling the truth about Bill Cosby either.
What?
You never heard my Bill Cosby story?
Uh-uh.
Damn, this is gonna be a long spot. Long story short, yeah, I knew Bill Cosby was the person he was that everyone knows now when I was middle schooler.
Oh no, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember this. Yep.
I told everyone. There was like Bill Cosby would never do that. I'm just like I have no reason to lie about this.
Mm, interesting.
But yeah, Bill Cosby has that gear,
That what gear?
that gear of like it's almost kind of like I live my life of nothing's absolute, right? I just go percentages. Only birth and death are absolutes. So this would be like me babysitting your cousin, right? And let's say your cousin's like 6 or 7, and they're like, "Oh, doing babysitting." Robert said, "Oh, fuck you, little bitch," and you're gonna be like, "I've known Robert for quite some time. The likelihood of him like doing that is just
Yeah.
like." I think you maybe misheard, or maybe you're watching stuff like that's how much credit and clout. Where you're kind of like you're not gonna jump to that immediate conclusion of like, Robert. That's how it was with Bill Cosby, bro. When I was like, "Yeah, Bill Cosby," he was like, "Get the fuck out of here, kid." And it was like not one of those like, "Oh, get the fuck out of here." It was one of those like, "Nigga, I'll fight you." So that's the gear I was exposed to with Mr. Cosby.
And I think a lot of people who have that complex of like I do no wrong,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh yeah, I ain't gonna never get in trouble. I don't do no wrong. Are usually the ones that are up to no good.
Hmm.
And you see a lot of it with famous people, you see, because it's their life is projected, but, like, I think in normal humanity, like, those people who walk around like their shit don't stink usually stink the most.
Yeah.
Um, so I can see that as you talk about it, and even in, like, his highlight of his career, right? He was walking around like his shit didn't stink, and, everybody's shit stinks. And you just have to own up to it and recognize that your shit stinks sometimes. And if you don't, then you're gonna be in uh, white walls, concrete facility. um, so yeah.
But nah, man. Sorry to take over.
Nah, you good.
But what are you playing no games about?
So today I have to say, I have to play no games about um mutual respect.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Um, I think mutual respect goes a long way, and even when it comes to even like friendships and relationships and just all the ships and like mutual respect, I think it carries more weight um than honesty.
Mm.
Like I had a conversation with an older dude today. He's like 80 something, looked like he was in his 60s, and he began with like regular comments. I was at a dog park, and so like he had some regular comments about like just your dog is this, your dog is that, and your dog is cute, whatever, and a nice dog. Talked about his life and growing up, and then you get the atypical, you know, the black question stuff, and it was interesting. Like it was, I just had to like meet him with respect,
Mm.
and I can tell like he didn't want to like say anything offensive, but he was trying to like say stuff to fit in so that I would like him more. Like
Mm.
and it didn't catch me off guard, but because I'm used to it, but it was so interesting to have a conversation with this dude who's in his late 80s, and one of the biggest things that he talked about was like mutual respect when it came to like across races, across people. And, he's like, I grew up, my family's from Finland and Scotland, and I was raised most of my life there. And then I grew up here as a sheep farmer, and I don't see color. He's like, I had all different colors sheep. And I was just like, that was the most racist comment you could
So you had
ever.
some non-binary sheep?
And I was like, you have
But you had some trans sheep?
so it was like, but I understood what he was trying to say,
Mhm.
and I had to meet him with mutual respect because I didn't want it to be a conversation that led to something bigger than what the intent was, right? And so like that's why I feel like meeting people with mutual respect allows you to see where they're coming from. And at the end of the day, which was hella funny, I was just like, you probably shouldn't have said it, but he was like, I went into the military and I tried to take a black lady with me, and she told me no. She was from Mississippi, and I was stationed in Mississippi. She's like, I don't think it's a good idea if we're together. And she's like, and this was the early 40s. And I was like, yeah, probably not. Like, probably not. Like in my head, I was like, probably not. Like, but it was like I had to like meet him with mutual respect. Like I just had to like take the conversation on for face value, and it was a pretty interesting conversation, but say the least.
I just want to say that I commend you for one holding that composure in space, because I feel like that was a very teachable moment
Mhm,
for yourself and for him, where like I don't think he'll ever have the capacity to know what he was doing was just out of bounds.
mhm,
And I think this kind of just sits on the fence of like people being like, oh, we have to end like, racism, things like that. And one of the things I would just hate to say is it's not gonna ever go away. I just think people's reaction to it has to be different. And and I'll just say that like you still found a way to level with the dude. And I mean like level with the dude is like you met him where he's at. Like obviously if he was like, saying some like you know, slanderous like stuff, I'm pretty sure you would have slid, but like literally meeting that person where he's at, because I promise you, even though in his own distorted way, he's kind of like, oh, I think I could talk to these people. And I think what a lot of people don't understand is like we still have to somehow coexist with these people. And when I mean coexist, meaning like, all right, how can I negotiate with you? Because I'm pretty sure like there's going to be a boss or someone where you have to negotiate with, and you're just going to be fundamentally different. Where like, if that person can fathom you having a conversation, then that next step is like, you may not agree with me, but like, can we get this bill passed, or can
mhm.
we get this taken care of? Because you may not mess with me, but like, you acknowledge that I exist.
And I think for me, when it comes to race and race relationships, right? Like, I'm really at a point where like you can say all you want, but if the actions defy something different, that's what I take more to heart than the actual like the words. Like the words don't carry weight if there's no action involved. There's no sense of like how can we give people BIPOC community more opportunities and more face value to make sure the revenue gap is increasingly becoming the same when it comes across race, gender, all the above. You know what I'm saying? Like how when those actions begin to change, like and that type of stuff begins to change, I think for me, I believe that racism is going to change. But until then, I just feel like the conversations are gonna stay the same of people just saying, "Yeah, I
Mm.
like black people, because I don't see color," or "I like black people because my friend is black." I like, like, but it's like that doesn't change the outcome of like what's actually going on.
I see that. I think for me, I just have given up on like people understanding or like people like understanding that, oh, this is oppressive or this is this, right? I always try to be like, all right, I'm here right now and I'm alive. You see that I exist because it's almost kind of like, and people might hate me for saying this too, where it's kind of like a parent child relationship where I'm like, I'm more involved than you. And I see that you're really struggling on this. And because you're a man child or woman child in a adult body that has power, I'm willing to meet you where you're at within reason. Now, I'm not trying to say you have to like me. I'm not saying that we have to go get donuts every Sunday, but you do have to tolerate me. And I think that word tolerance is something that I've been like really practicing where like how can I sit in a room with a person I just fundamentally don't agree with?
Mm, interesting.
Now, obviously, when I tell people when I flex or talk about tolerance, I'm more or less not trying to say that you don't let anyone call you, something or dirty up your name, but like your enemy has a perspective. You're the villain in someone else's story. Wouldn't it be interesting to kind of know their villain backstory? There's actually watching a very interesting video. I posted this on my feed maybe like a month ago, but I
Mm.
save all my stuff, and it was like in stories, heroes and villains are the same people. They just had different perspectives of the world.
Robin Hood.
Mhm.
Robin Hood. People call him a hero, but to many, he was a villain.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have that story all the time.
Yeah. We look at the most recent Joker,
Mhm.
mental health. We know his backstory of why he's like, you know what? Or we look at Thanos. You know what? I I get it. I understand what got you to this point. And I think that's what makes a good book, a
Mhm.
good story, is when you can humanize the villain, not be like, I'm just taking over the world because I was want to take over the world. Like that's easy, but like, nah. And actually, let's get it out of the fantasy realm. Is this person really a criminal when he tried to do it the right way? And I'm gonna say a male because I want to also destigmatize a lot of different things. My ladies, I'm gonna come for y'all in a minute. But like, let's use a guy who's working hard. The pandemic hit him hard. He doesn't have a job anymore. He's got two kids. He's never missed a child support payment. He's never not been late on student loans, and his job cuts him off. What's to say from Amazon because they're not unionized. Um, he's only getting $1,000 from unemployment. All right, I got sell, I gotta do some stuff on the sides. Now, if he doesn't take care of his family, is he a bad guy? Of course. Is he a deadbeat? Of course. No one sees that perspective. They just, is it paid? So, is he really a criminal or is he doing whatever he has to do?
And I think I actually was having this conversation with somebody the other day too, which is crazy because they were like, "Oh, I lived in Maryland. I hated it there because there's a lot of crime, a lot of killing, shooting, and this." And I said, "But how much opportunity was there?"
Mm.
I said, "How much opportunity was there?" I mean, and I was like, "But then you can also compare it to Portland because look at what's going on here in Portland. There's not a lot opportunity for young people to do stuff because part of it is our school system. Our school system is beginning to fail young people. Like, and when you think about it, if I know I can look online and do Google to get straight A's in school, why do I need to be in school?
It- that is pushing it, but okay, I'm riding with you.
It's literally working in a school building. That's 90% of what the kids do. And even some of the teachers be like, just look it up on Google. And so when you see that and you feel that, am I trying in school? No. Am I putting my best foot forward in school? No. So then why do I need to be in school? There was kids in school who literally would go to school once a week, do DoorDash the rest of the days just to make extra money because they did not need to be in school because they are passing all their classes, going once a week. Do you think people need school now? And I'm not, I'm not opposed,
I know you're not knocking it. I know you're not knocking it.
but with opportunity, it forces people to get out of temptation, which then gets a lot of times, especially for black and brown students, temptation leads to trouble. Temptation is extra money. Temptation is being able to do this, kick it with my homeboys who ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. And now opportunity becomes temptation.
And this is where I slightly disagree with you because I would say from 0 to 20-ish, and the reason I say 20s because everyone think they grown at that time. You can't even run a car, but like that's parenting.
Oh,
And
absolutely. But
and my thing is, I think for me, what comes up for me is like I do, even though I had a difficult childhood growing up, every year it's like, what can I say? I can never say that I was never not hungry, but like I knew when the family's like, "Yo, we got to limit some stuff." But shout out to moms. She every year, she made miracles, and like,
shout out,
but
shout out.
like I think even I remember those times of like when we were like budgeting and things like that. My mom made it into a learning opportunity, being like, "This is how much you have for school clothes. Are you gonna buy one pair of Jordans, and I'll make you wear all those Jordans for the entire school year? It'll be your track shoes, your church shoes. We gonna make that Jordan fly. You gonna be the real heir parent when you have these shoes on 7 days a week." And I think that is something where like I don't, and it's just like crazy thing to kind of keep on topic too as well. Where like at the same time I can get on parents, but I don't blame parents too. At some parents.
We go back to opportunity, right?
Hmm.
If I'm coming as a parent, say I have 2 kids, right? And I'm a single parent and I got to work 12-hour shifts to provide for 2 kids and my apartment and all my other bills that I need, am I going to see my 2 kids? So what opportunity do I have to teach them the do's and the don'ts?
And this is where I feel like I was spoiled. I had a person in my life that she would go to work at 7 p.m., get off at 7 a.m., make our lunch, drop us off at school, sleep for 3 hours, and she'd be like, "Don't make." Actually, guilty pleasure alert. I've been watching Everybody Hates Chris a lot, and like Julius and like his mom, like they, and the mom like remind me of my childhood. Boy, that was 17 cents worth of, and like they just made it happen. And and here's the nutrient from it, right? Not hiding from your kids of like, we don't have this. Being
Mhm.
like, we can't do the
Yeah.
Xbox. We like, and being like, you have to make do with what you have. And I think that's the part where I feel spoiled in a sense of my mom had the creativity to be like, we're gonna make this a learning out opportunity. What we can have, and me not, obviously her not telling me, obviously not everything, but like being real, really kind
Mhm.
of helped and shaped and formed like how I really like navigate through life.
Mm.
Just like with this pot, we filming every week. We gonna make it work because that's what you just do. You get creative.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm kind of like,
So, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking anything
no,
that
no, no, no.
you're saying
We're
and
yeah.
referencing, like, But I feel like a lot of, especially nowadays, we have a lot of parents who aren't raising their kids, and we have a lot of grandparents raising their kids, and so then that becomes a tough situation, which is a whole nother thing. And then on top of that, the opportunity for a lot of those parents to work and provide because their kid is asking for A, B, and C, like you said, not being honest, letting the kids know that, look, we ain't got it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what I can say. Because I had
Mhm.
that same conversation. I had that same conversation probably eighth grade. My mom said that to us freshman year, something like that. It had that rough conversation. And I looked my mom dead in her face and said, you ain't got to worry about me no more. You ain't got to buy me nothing. Got a job, started working.
Mm.
And because I felt like I had to in order to get the things that I wanted to. Like, and that was, I said, you ain't got to worry about paying for nothing for me. And I've done it ever since. Like, and she's helped out here and there and helped me here and stuff there. But like, if I'm going to my mom for something, she knows. Like, oh, okay, something's up. Like something really happening. Outside of that, no. But no, but and I feel like that's why you get those families that, like you said, are painted out to be the villain because you have those kids that are doing whatever it takes to feed their mom.
Mhm.
I had a student ask me for money for his mom to get an Uber home. Think about that. Not for himself, for his mom. So you have students that are not only raising their brothers, their siblings, but also raising their parents. And also like there's not a lot of opportunity for them. They're stuck in being an adult as a child. I met another student like working full-time job, 16, in school, like because they have to help pay bills. So it's like when we talk about opportunity and we talk about that's my whole thing is like we don't give the quote unquote villain an opportunity to speak for themselves.
Mhm.
And I think once the villain can have that conversation, people will begin to realize that that's not the villain.
And I hate to get all anime with you, but there's this anime show called My Hero Academia, and it's about a hero society. 20% of 80% of the population has superpowers. 20% are just regular humans.
Mhm.
And long story short, pretty much there's like these villains, and they're literally outcasts. And I'm not gonna spoil things for too much for people, but like one of the major points of it is there's one guy, and this guy's name is Twice, and his quirk is he can duplicate himself. But like, here's the thing, and this is why I like the show where they have the realism. Like this guy, I think he got his quirk. He he's always had it. He always they call it superpowers quirks. He always had his quirk, right? But he never copied himself more than like twice. And then he had a moment where when he got adult, when he got fired from his job, and I'm butchering it, I believe, because he was under so much stress, he copied himself multiple times, and like he had a mental break. He didn't know who he was because he did an
Mm.
exact copy of himself, and like he would rob stuff, and then it led to him actually splitting his head in half. I'm not too much, but like because he tied one of his selves tied him up, being like they were like in a room being like, no, I'm the real one, I'm the real one. And like he's like, I can't deal with this. And he's like, I've already tried to go to the cops. I went through a therapist. Nobody's listening to me.
Mm.
And like the best thing that he could do to shut out all the voices is putting on a mask. Well, first he split his head in half, and then because the more damage you do to him, that's how you know like the copy explodes. So like throughout the series, always doesn't know if am I the original.
Mm.
And like when you take off his mask, he has a mental break because he doesn't know who he is. And that's why I love the story because some of the villains that they're fighting right now, if a hero would have really showed up, they would have been saved. And there's some heroes because you get paid in society for being a hero are just doing it for the cash. And some villains, this one villain, last point, His name is Hero Killer Stain. He's like, I will never be defeated by a hero like you because you're not doing it for the real reasons. And that's like, and like that's why I like the writer. He like really balances what we're talking about. Like, is this person really a villain? Is this person really a good person? This is really a good hero. Flips it on his fucking head, bro.
I mean, you think about our society, it's so based like that.
Yeah.
Like when you break it down and water it, it's like people who do things for the money, right? Like
Mhm.
I want the fame, I want the riches, I want the power, but are you doing it for the right reason? Are you doing it to do something that you shouldn't be doing? Are you doing it while doing something you shouldn't be doing? Right? Like,
Mhm.
am I selling pounds of cocaine to make my millions? Right? What are you doing?
Push your T.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? Right? Like, are you a hero or are you a villain? Yeah, I made my money, but what have I also done?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like people have that saying, it's like kill or be killed.
Mhm.
And it's like, why do we live in a society where everybody dies? You know what I'm saying? Right? Because if I have to kill you or be killed, I'm killing you all day. So now everybody's dead.
Because it goes, I think it goes back to that tolerance thing that I just live my life by because I'm willing to be in a room with people who see life differently, where like they think
Hmm.
they have to be like this, or they feel they have to be like this, where I know I get my fulfilling of like life from my community that I build. And when I mean the community that I build, I'm meaning that it's very important for me to show up for my best friends. It's very important for me to show up for my I call them, besides my, four, two deadly horsemen, y'all know who you are. I have the Knights of the Round Table. There's 12 of them. These 12 people I show up for. Um and y'all know who y'all are. We're like, it's that network where their belief in just what I represent and my purpose gives me enough life. And if that turns into millions, it turns into millions. If it turns in, I think we get so caught up with it has to be like this. I have to win like this. Winning looks differently for everyone.
Absolutely.
And I think that's just a major issue with a lot of different things, man.
Yeah. Big time. This is an interesting episode, truthfully.
Hey man, that's what we do.
Um, I have a question for you. I gotta pull it up real quick.
All right, I got one for you, but hit me with it.
Uh, I said, do you think meeting a person of interest in a certain place tells a lot about that person?
Ooh, because I have a very funny social situation for you after this. But I think it does. It does matter. It does
Why?
because hey, y'all gonna call me a simp, but I don't care. I got a big heart. Uh, because it goes to your story, your love story. Or like, I feel like there's a right way to be like, oh yeah, we met on Tinder, or there's a right way to be like we met on Hinge. But like, if you're like, nah, I was at Pal's bookstore, and then you know, I couldn't reach to the top of the bookshelf, and she came over and was like, "We trying to get this book?" That story just hit harder, and the reason why it hits harder is because it's natural, so it matters.
Okay, I hear your perspective. I respect it. I mean, as a whole person, I don't know where that thought came from, but
Oh,
like,
you're right.
um, I think it does matter, especially like if you know what you want and what you're looking for, right? And then you want some commonality, right? Like if I go meet a girl at the club and I'm like, yeah, she about to be my wife, it's probably not gonna be your wife, right? Like I'm not
It's
saying it can't happen, not saying, but like I think where you meet people
yeah.
also dictates a lot about their personality.
My only devil's advocate is, you know, some of them church girls.
Oh yeah, they be in the club.
What we talking about?
They be in a club more than in
yeah,
some of the
some of those
everyday club
those
goers.
peak pastors kids, PC kids. There we go.
But it's like on the flip side of that, like yeah. So like I don't know, it's an interesting question for
So
myself.
my question is, I wanna not my question is I want to switch it up. What would your ideal place be for you to meet your wife? Where would you want it to happen? And don't lie.
Truthfully, on the beach in another country.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
You trying
Truthfully,
to see some titties? That's what you trying.
no,
He's just trying to see them titties.
no. Actually, truthfully, I don't know. I've never really thought about that. I never really like because it's like I've met people on airplanes. I've met
Okay, goat. All right.
I've met people in restaurants. I've met people in the
I've done that.
gym. I've met people
Real life, don't I?
like the club. Like you you meet people all over the place. I feel like college was like I think college was for me like the most interesting opportunity of meeting people
Uh,
because you meet people in like different um same similar mindset but in different timing, right? Like I remember I was uh
uh,
I guess I'll talk about it. Like
okay.
I met a girl in college, um really feeling her, and but
Uh,
we were like it was two different moments, right? Like she was kind of younger, so she was going through like that opportunity, like the understanding college phase, and I was older, so I was like getting out of college phase, and
uh,
so it was like we were in two different pages of a book,
uh,
and so it was like the chemistry was there, conversation was great, but like mentally we were just in two different pages in the book, so it never really like opened up, so to speak. I don't know how to describe it. Like, but it's like so you get those opportunities, of course, but then it's like I was like that the question like you can really technically find anybody, but the personality might be a little weird, a little different.
you know, I was saying college for me was the year of the brick. And when I mean the year of the brick is, you know, we was trying to be on that dance floor, you know, get bricked up, be like, hey, that was the year of the brick.
Oh my god, bro. Oh my god.
Are we gonna lie? When we was at a bar that we cannot mention, I'll just say I ran that bar with an iron fist. Shout out to reverse racism. Yes. I'm not saying what I was, but someone recognized me as something, and I was like, "Yeah, we running with this." But we'll just say that, yeah.
Oh my
College was
god.
the year of the brick, and when I say that, y'all, is like them Eugene boys. We would be out there, be like, they be like, what was that one song? It had YG and Jeremiah. Do, 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 do. Bro, we was up in the club.
I need a good.
Bro, we was out. We was in the porta potties
Ugh.
in half bricked, and we like, all right, we gotta get out there because we was like, that's how they gonna know that we real, that we interested. Allegedly, with consent.
Oh my god. I'm so done.
Okay, I'm joking, but not joking.
Oh my god. You
Um,
really just said that.
hey, you know, we gotta give. All right, I would say if we're being more
Oh.
mature, but yeah, I definitely think that you know it definitely matters. But I think not. But for me, I want to stop saying but. I think for me, I just want to tell guys, just shoot your shot. Like if
Woo.
you're in aisle 2 in Safeway and you're looking at between quinoa and rice and Uncle Ben, definitely get the quinoa. And if you look up, and you see a baddie, just be like, you know what? I'm gonna need some,
I'm
so
gonna need some assistance. Should I get Uncle Ben's or quinoa?
exactly, or I'm gonna need some oregano or whatever you fucking call it. Make an excuse, Get
Ask the question and see where the question leads you.
you be like, did you eat your chunky soup? You better go down there.
Does quinoa go best with chicken or rice? Or rice go better with chicken?
I think quinoa in itself, like it depends on the brand. Some
I'm
quinoas be
I'm
like,
just I'm
oh,
just
oh, oh
added to the
sorry.
bullshit.
Yeah, we got to do, but I think it's just, I think it is just, yeah, it depends.
Mm. I also think it's the mentality too. Young men's mentality comparative to understand and
It's just,
go back to what you want. I think
yeah,
it's like what you if you're going into a safe way talking about I'm gonna find my wife in here, you're probably not gonna find your wife.
manifestation is real.
It is.
Manifestation is real. I just think people, let's just say this, it's so hard because it just everything just has to like, and this is why I love about like fucking love, because like I can be so right about things but also so wrong, which I love, because then it just gets added to my queue of like, oh, this is a new like, if I was an Avenger, I would probably be Doctor Strange with the fucking time stone. Like when my friends be asking me about stuff, like when you bring up stuff, you bro, you saw me sitting in the back here just like weaving my web of like this, because like when it comes to the manager of the heart, it's literally yes, obviously it's yes or a no, but there's so many like multiverses of how a person can say yes or how they can say no.
Mhm.
And they leave that to the person to make a, a clear cut answer, which is like crazy. But this actually leads me to one of our last things I want to talk to you about, because I have something very interesting. Because this goes along
Uh-oh.
to this. Goes along
Uh-oh.
with this.
Uh-oh.
I heard a video, and I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna give you the concept. So, okay, I want to see what you gonna say.
All right, I'm nervous.
A husband and wife go on vacation
Mm.
in the Caribbean,
Okay.
one of them places.
Yeah.
The husband and wife are doing like some parasail, or no, the wife is doing like some parasailing, right, or whatever, right? Husband's on boat. Malfunction happens. Wife goes into water, but wife also has a life jacket on. So like she's in the water. The boat is, let's just say, not that far away. It's decent. It's got to do a little lap.
Yeah.
Wife is in water because of accident. Boat turns around and goes to get the wife. Wife gets rescued by the staff, and then following the next day, she asks for a divorce. And her reason for getting a divorce is he didn't come to save her. He just stayed in the boat. Now she's in a whole nother marriage and things like that. But I have a question for you.
Oh, snap.
Her main reason was because homeboy didn't jump in and try to save her. So I have a question. How do you feel about that? Because then I have to bring in the second part of the story. Do you feel like she was justified in her decision making? That he should at least make the effort to just jump in?
Um
Is
re- I,
unknown if he can swim or not.
so I think that is a big factor, right? Like but then on the flip side of that, it's I don't know. That's a tough question. For me personally, like if my woman were to fall into the ocean with the life vest on, I'm trying to have some sense of communication between the two of like, are you okay? And do you need me to come out there? Because the boat is coming to get you, but I can come get you if you need me to. Like And I know there'll probably be like, you shouldn't have to ask if you see you need me, but you also have a life vest on. So the sense of me trying to get you and possibly now kill both of us is like, it's like a toss up in the air, right? Like, but I definitely would have that sense of communication to reach out. Like if she's panicking, then I'm going to go. But if she's cool, calm, and collective, like, oh, this is cold. Can you hurry up? Da da da. I'm gonna try and communicate that across.
More context. What if you couldn't swim and then the staff was like, "Sir, let us do our job. We'll go get your wife."
If I can't swim, I'm not getting in.
Okay.
And that, I mean, in all honesty,
So what if the staff told you, you're like, "Don't do that. We'll go save her. That's part of our job."
and my wife is panicking,
Yes.
I'm jumping in.
Interesting. Okay. So do you feel like she was justified in saying that this person wasn't a man? And
No.
okay. Now, I want to give you the reverse of this. I think this was a soccer player. No, it was a UFC fighter. So let's just say you and your future wife was leaving a restaurant. All right. And say you're leaving a restaurant. So you and your girl leaving
Mhm.
restaurant. You guy pulls two guys come pull out a gun and they're robbing you. And then your wife takes off and just runs. You have kids and things like that. She just leaves you. How would you feel about that? They pull out a gun and they run them pockets, and your wife takes off and leaves you.
I mean, I'm gonna have a problem, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. What would
Would
you?
you? Well, for me, I would prefer my wife. Like, look here, we've heard Bad Boys. We ride together, we die together. Bad Boys for life. Like,
So like,
but I have
I
more
think it
layers to
also,
it.
I think it also depends on type of wife I have, right? Like, I want my wife to be like, nigga, hold up, who pocket you running? Nigga, we both gonna die tonight. What? But then it's like, on the flip side of that, it's like our kids, right? Like, then
Yeah.
you have that thought of like, if we both die, who's taking care of our kids? If we both die, how's that? You know what I'm saying? So I might put her in the way. I'm just not. I'm
Nah.
just, I'm done.
No, no.
I'm done.
See, I just find the reason why I brought it up and just to like joke around and I kind of give you more of my perspective, a little bit of my perspective is like when I heard that story, I heard that story from the Breakfast Club from the chick and how she was doing the book tour. She was like one of those daytime TV show judges, and
Mhm.
she was like, I can't deal with the man that won't put out the effort. But then I always look at society of like when it comes to, and we probably won't talk about this episode, but I wrote down some notes about like I think we should definitely talk about gender roles. And like what I mean is kind of like with that whole situation of like when it happened to that UFC fighter and he's like, "Oh, I wanted my wife to like run away, escape." But I was like, if we flipped that and I was a dude and y'all was at gunpoint, he ran and she stayed, y'all would call that man a wimp.
Mhm.
But if we really get into the psychology behind it, it's fight, flight, or freeze. Some people fight, some people freeze, some people run. And I just think we're like, some people are like, "Oh, she was thinking about the kids." So I guess for me it's kind of like where do we like in the society if the theme of the theme of today's episode like how do we like it's kind of like I don't think we'll ever kind of get rid of gender roles but like that but like respecting like when you're in a relationship this is how things go because I've heard a plethora of things from women or I don't just say from women or just when people are talking about traditional gender roles where like if the guy doesn't protect the house he's a sucker. But I'm like, let's be equal. That means you protect the house. I'll make to I'll make dinner tonight. You deal with this sailing down. See what I'm saying? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like the double standard in this, where it's kind of like I'm not trying to like say women this and like that, but it's just like this very toxic imbalance of like one. I just want to say this: glad that homegirl and dude made it out of the situation. If anyone robs you, anyone in the future, just give it to them. But if you my girl, at least let me tell you to run away. Just don't run away off rip. At least let me just say, let me at least just have that. Like, run, girl, run.
Yeah.
But like, don't just give me your pockets and run without me. you know? So but that's my 2 cents on it. I was just curious after me just like putting that on you.
So yeah, that one is kind of it's interesting to talk about because when you usually think of gender roles, a lot of times it's like nowadays it's still more about the money aspect, right? Like
Mm,
men don't care if their women makes more money than them now, right? Before that used to be an issue. Like, nah, fuck that. She ain't making more money than me.
yeah.
But we don't talk about the actual physical side of things too as
Hmm.
well. Like we don't talk about like if you get robbed or somebody comes and sticks up you in your car, like what's the woman gonna do? What you gonna do?
You're
Right?
less of a man.
Like, right? Like, or somebody steals something off of you. Are you gonna help chase him down? Or are you gonna stand there and watch? Right? Like, we don't talk about the flip side of things. But if a dude steals your purse, you're expecting me to go chase him,
Mm.
right? Like, no questions asked. Like, why didn't you go get him? Why didn't you? Why weren't you running to get your purse?
The only reason I bring that up is because you sometimes you hear it as, oh, that's a turnoff. I don't think you're gonna protect me.
Hmm.
Um, so that's even though I feel
Yeah,
like this is a be continued, we have to have a woman
absolutely. We need a
around. But
woman's
like, do you see
perspective.
what? Am I crazy for being like, you divorced this man after y'all just got married because he didn't jump into the water when the professionals were like, and there was a story on a cruise of like, same thing happened. Woman got stuck in like some inner tube or whatever, right? Husband jumped off the boat and then dies. And they were like, we'll get her. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm balanced. I always say I'm balanced. Or like, depending on what it is that I'll just do. But like my ass who can moderately swim, and they're like, hey Rob, we just gotta do a quick little lap. We're not that far. We're gonna go pick up your wife. Don't worry about it. Then I'm cool. But like you said, I'm gonna be talking like, yeah, if I gotta jump in the water or something like that with like a life preserver and do it, then I'll do it. But like, you really divorce homeboy off that? Like, come on. Or you didn't look at me first. You just ran and just assume. Can you at
Yeah,
least just
man.
stand there with me? Like, I know
Mhm.
I gotta do it, but like, at least just like, let me just say the words.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point, though.
Because women will say, or not trying to make this a woman thing, but like certain aspects of like manhood, they will question and be like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm attracted to stuff like that. Someone
yeah,
who can set the table.
yeah, yeah. What if it's vice versa, right?
Exactly. I ain't
Right.
got no I posted a very funny reel not too long ago about like if your wife made like 7 figures, like would you work on the apron? We good. Like I can still run the pod. The dinner will be ready every night, babe. I have no problem. I'd be like, AJ, you know what we doing? We balling that with my wife's money. I ain't got no problems.
Yeah, I think a lot of men are at that point too, though, like because they see the benefit, right? Like now I can raise my kids. Like now I can do a lot of the things that I wasn't able to do before,
Mm,
and still take care of somebody that I take care of. But I think that also, on the flip side of that, gets thrown in their face too. You don't even make no money. You ain't doing shit. Did it?
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Very
So
true.
on the flip side of it, and I don't think a lot of men do that. I mean, there are some that do, but I don't think a lot of men do that.
Well, we'll just say I feel like not all women, but some have that Amber Heard syndrome. Oh, you don't know about what's going on with Johnny Depp?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that, yeah, yes,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like that conversation is for a different episode and show.
Absolutely.
But if you like what we're talking about, Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Absolutely. I think this episode broken down to mutual respect.
Yes. So someone pulls out a gun on you. Instead of one person run, you both run.
Mutually run.
Respectfully. This has been Rob.
It's Arthur.
This has been a Play No Games podcast / show.
Peace.
Probably wondering if I think of you. Sorry, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, for the bag that I never had. Yeah, you probably mad right now. Yeah, I got a 2-piece now. Shit, I think they call them groupies now.